I thought the worst thing in life was hearing a doctor's diagnosis, but I was wrong. The worst part was finding out that the money that could have saved my daughter, my wife, had spent on a night in a hotel with another man. I held the bank statement in my hands and felt everything inside clench. $27,000. Stolen, squandered, wasted on brand-name clothes, alcohol, and filthy pleasures. And our daughter? Our little daughter, who falls asleep every night in pain, got her mom's new purse for $3,000 instead of treatment. I changed that, and this is how it was. Listen to the end and tell me your opinion whether I did the right thing or not. Have you ever felt your world crumble in an instant? How an icy lump of fear rises in your chest, and your body goes numb with the realization that everything you fought for is just gone. I felt it the day I realized the money meant for our daughter's treatment was missing. Missing how? I asked when I heard the answer from the bank employee. The funds were withdrawn from your joint account a few days ago, sir. The transaction was approved by your spouse, the account holder. I stood with my phone in my hand, looking at the screen with the account statement, and I couldn't believe my eyes. The entire amount, $27,000. Gone. 3 months ago, our daughter, Sophie, was diagnosed with an illness that required expensive treatment. I immediately started working more, taking overtime, freelancing at night, saving money on everything. Every penny went to her treatment. I was sure that my wife, Lisa, understood how important this was. And now that money is just gone. I looked at the statement again. A few big purchases at expensive boutiques, a jewelry store, paying for some high-end restaurant, and the nastiest of all, booking a 5-star hotel for one night. I slowly sat on the edge of the bed, trying to realize what was happening. The phone conversation that made me realize everything. I dialed Lisa. She didn't answer right away, and when she did, her voice sounded annoyed. Can you not call me every 5 minutes? I'm busy. Where's the money, Lisa? My voice was steady, but I was seething inside. There was silence for a second. Then there was a short laugh. What money? Money for Sophie. $27,000. Where'd it go? She sighed. Jesus, Tom. Don't start. I just took some. I needed some space. I was tired of staying home with the baby and waiting for you to come home from work. Aren't I entitled to a little joy? A little? Freedom? You spent money that was supposed to save our daughter on some damn little joys. Lisa snorted. Don't be so dramatic. You can earn more, right? At that moment, I realized that the woman in front of me wasn't just an irresponsible woman. I was looking at a man who didn't care. About me. About our daughter. About anything but his own pleasures. What's the next step? I could go home right now, make a scene, demand an explanation. I could go to the police, to court, anywhere. I clicked end call, went to online banking, and opened recent transactions. I wanted to know everything, every detail. I dialed her number again. Tom, seriously? It sounded annoyed. Where are you? At the mall. Why are you yelling like that? I closed my eyes, trying to calm myself down. I'll meet you at the house in an hour. I want answers. All of them. She sighed. You're so boring. Okay, I'll see you around. I didn't bother answering, just dropped the call. An hour later, I was home. Lisa walked in a few minutes later with an expensive purse on her shoulder, in a designer coat, with a new style. She looked gorgeous. And perfectly content. I stared at her in silence. What? She rolled her eyes, kicking off her shoes. You still haven't calmed down, have you? I picked up my phone and showed the statement. Explain it to me. What the hell? She rolled her eyes. Tom, let's not be dramatic. You wasted money on rags and restaurants. It's not even yours, it's our daughter's money. She shrugged. Not only that. I was just tired. I wanted to have some fun. You're always at work, and I'm at home waiting for you like a dog. I wanted to take my mind off things. I squinted. What else? She grinned, walked to the bedroom, and sat on the bed. Everything you've already seen. Shopping, spas, restaurants. A little fun, you know? I looked at her and couldn't believe it. In the hotel. She froze for a second. Oh, you went in there, too? You spent Sophie's money. I need to know everything. She hummed. Come on, Tom. I just had a drink. It was a party. Me and the girls met a bunch of guys, decided to have a little fun. Nobody owes anybody anything. My head was spinning. You cheated on me for our money? She snorted. God, what difference does it make? It was just a night. It's not going to make you feel any better. Lisa, do you realize what you've done? She looked up at me. Stop playing the victim. Money's just paper. You can earn more. I looked at her and realized that she didn't care about me or our daughter at all. I took a deep breath, trying to keep myself from screaming. Do you realize what you've done? She rolled her eyes irritably. Oh, God, Tom. Let's not lecture. I sat down across from her, trying to catch her gaze. You stole money that could have saved our daughter. How can you justify that? She sighed and reached for her cigarettes. I didn't steal anything. It was a joint account. But that money was for treatment. We were saving it for her. You knew how important it was. She shrugged lazily. I'm tired of living in austerity mode. Tired of hearing about illness, about treatment, about your overtime. I needed a vacation. I could barely contain my anger. Did you need a vacation? From what? From your family? From your own daughter, who's suffering? Don't make me a monster, Tom. She lit a cigarette and let the smoke out. I'm a mother, but I'm also a woman. I need emotions, pleasure. You work 24 hours a day, and I'm supposed to sit around waiting for you at home like a maid? You don't even work, Lisa. All you ever did was take care of Sophie. She wrinkled her nose. And it's the most boring job in the world. I didn't sign up to be a babysitter. I felt a wave of disgust come over me. Are you serious? That's your daughter. She waved her hand. I love her, but I don't have to sacrifice myself. And you're acting like I have to live my life just for her. I looked at her and realized that she was a complete stranger. I tried to be a good husband, Lisa. For you, for us, for our family. But now I realize you're just selfish. She grinned. So what now? You're gonna leave me? I took a deep breath. I'm giving you a chance. Give me the money back. Show me you care. She stared at me for a few seconds. Then she laughed. You really think I'm gonna give anything back? It's all spent, Tom. Relax. She exhaled smoke and looked at me with a sneer, as if this was some kind of prank rather than a conversation about our daughter's future. It's all spent, Tom. Relax. The words echoed in my head as I sat there, staring at her. My heart was beating so hard I could hear it rumbling in my ears. She didn't even try to justify herself. Didn't even pretend to be embarrassed. Just shrugged her shoulders and moved to the side of indifference. I stood up and walked around the room, trying not to let my emotions take over. And you're telling me there's not a dime to be had? She shrugged. Except for some change in my purse, but I doubt that would help Sophie. I clenched my fists. Do you realize what you've done? You jeopardized our daughter's health. It's not just money, Lisa. It's her life. Oh, that's enough. She exhaled irritably and leaned back against the headboard. You just whine endlessly. The money's gone, that's all. You know how to make money, Tom. Work harder, and the problem's solved. I looked at her and tried to figure out when she became this person. Was she always like this? Or was it my fault for not seeing her true nature? I wanted to yell at her, smash something, tear this room to hell, but instead I did something she clearly wasn't expecting. I inhaled deeply and exhaled slowly. All right. Chuckles. She squinted. What's good? I nodded, as if resigned. You're right. Whining won't help. You can't get the money back. So we have to figure out what we're going to do next. She paused, as if trying to figure out if I'd really given up or if I was just playing a game. That's different, she said at last, and smiled. I knew you'd understand. We'll get through this, Tom. I didn't answer. I turned and walked out of the room, closing the door behind me. I wasn't going to put up with it. Lisa was sure she'd won, that I had nowhere to go. But she'd forgotten one important thing. I'm not the kind of person who just gives up. If she doesn't return the money voluntarily, I'll find a way to collect it myself. I knew she had to have some money left. Maybe cash. Maybe some expensive things to sell. I sat down at my laptop and logged into online banking. Our joint account was empty, but her personal. I entered her password. I had it because we once trusted each other. Balance, $3,215. So it didn't all go to her entertainment. I walked over to her closet and opened it. The shelves were bursting with clothes, most of which hadn't even been worn yet. Designer clothes, shoes, bags, anything she'd spend her unnecessary money on. I pulled a box from the shelf from my new bag. Inside was an envelope. I opened it, and there was a wad of bills inside. I did the math. $850. Yeah, so you were hiding something after all, I muttered to myself. I kept looking. In the dresser drawer, I found another envelope, $600. There's another $400 on the shoe shelf. It's only $1,850. Not much, but it's something. I felt a strange satisfaction. She thought she'd spent me, but she didn't realize that I had plenty of time to get it all back. I could hear her showering, and that gave me a few more minutes. I quickly took pictures of the wads of money and where I found them to record the evidence. Then I put everything back the way it was. I sat in the dark, looking at a closet full of designer clothes, and felt anger boiling up inside me. Lisa spent thousands of dollars on handbags and shoes while our daughter waited for treatment. While I was working nights, saving money and thinking about how I could raise the money faster, she was buying herself damn dresses and jewelry. Did you think you could get away with it, Lisa? You're wrong. I stood up, turned on the light, and slowly opened the closet. I didn't even realize how much luxury she had accumulated over the past few months. On every shelf were brand-name clothes, neatly arranged, like a boutique. I started going through them, reading the tags and price tags. The Chanel bag is a minimum of $3,000. Louboutin shoes, $1,500. Gucci dress, about $2,000. Max Mara coat, $5,000. I clenched my fists. All of this was bought with the money that was supposed to be used to save our daughter. I ran my hand over the soft fabric of the coat and snorted. Well, Lisa, if these things are so important to you, let's see how easily you can part with them. I carefully pulled out a few of my most expensive items and put them in my travel bag. Then pulled out my phone and hit the local classifieds. I opened up the sales section and started writing. Selling original Chanel bag, condition new. Price, $2,500. Louboutin shoes, used once. $1,200. Gucci dress, original, worn once. $1,800. Uploaded a photo. The answers came almost immediately. Ready to pick up the bag today, can transfer prepayment. I'm interested in the shoes, can we meet tonight? Is Gucci still available? I'll take it for $1,700 if it's urgent. I grinned. That's how fast your luxury turns into money, Lisa. Lisa had gone on vacation with her friends, and that was a good thing. I had time to act. I grabbed my duffel bag, got in my car, and drove to my first appointment. The customer was a young woman, elegant, in a business suit. She examined the bag carefully. Are you sure it's the original? She asked, groping the skin. Absolutely, I nodded. Serial number, packaging, everything's in place. She nodded, pulled out the money and handed it to me. $2,500. I felt a strange satisfaction. Shoes and a dress. The next meeting went by just as quickly. A young guy was buying shoes for his girlfriend. $1,200, right? He held out a wad of money. Yeah, good choice. And finally, the dress. The woman arrived in an expensive convertible, and as I handed her the dress, she asked, "Why are you selling?" I hesitated for a second. It just didn't fit. She shrugged, handed me $1,700 and left. When I got home, I had $5,400 in cash. It was still a small fraction of the $27,000, but it was already progress. I stashed the money in the safe and sat on the bed. She stole from our daughter. Now I'm gonna steal from her. But that's just the beginning. I sat in the dark, counting the money. $5,400. It was only a small part of the $27,000 Lisa had stolen, but it was a step forward. I felt satisfied that I was beginning to get back what she had taken. But keeping that money at home wasn't the best idea. Lisa could find it at any moment and spend it again on meaningless pleasures. I needed a reliable way to keep them. I opened my laptop and went to the bank's website. Creating a new account was easier than I thought. A couple of minutes and I had a new savings account in my name. I chose a name for the bill. Sophie's Cure Foundation. That money didn't belong to me anymore. And it certainly didn't belong to Lisa. It only belonged to our daughter. I transferred the full amount there, $5,400. When the surgery was over, I felt like I could breathe easier for the first time in a long time. Lisa can't get to them now. But that was only the first step. I realized that just selling her stuff wasn't enough. I had to do something smarter to get the full $27,000 back. I decided to check to see what other accounts or assets Lisa might have. Opening her nightstand, I started going through the papers. Credit statements, checks, contracts. And then I found something interesting. Receipts for an expensive fitness club. Certificate of VIP box rental at the concert. A check from a jewelry boutique for $5,800. I clenched my fists. She wasn't just spending money, she was siphoning it left and right while I was torn up at work. I took a picture of all these documents. Now I had proof of her wastefulness. The door slammed. Lisa came home. Are you awake? Her voice sounded relaxed, like she'd had a great night. I closed the laptop and looked at her. She smelled of expensive perfume. Her hair was styled. Her makeup barely touched. I guessed it. There were no girlfriends there. It was probably just another party, alcohol, maybe even another man. No, I'm not, I answered calmly. She threw her coat off on a chair and stretched. I'm tired. Why don't we talk tomorrow? Sure, Lisa. Tomorrow. She hadn't even noticed that there were a few less things in her closet. I followed her gaze as she left for the bedroom and felt everything inside clench. How could I live with this person for so many years and not see the real her? But it didn't matter now. I knew what to do. Lisa was hiding something again. I could see it in her demeanor, in her slight smile, in her confident movements, in the way she barely made eye contact with me. She thought I was a fool, that I'd swallow her lies like I'd done before. But I was different now. I wasn't going to guess where she spent her nights. I wanted facts. I wanted to know the truth. The next day, when Lisa left again to meet her friends, I decided to check her phone. He lay on the kitchen table while she showered. I took it, opened the messages, and immediately felt a wave of ice rise in me. Yesterday was amazing. You're incredible. Shall we do it again this weekend? I opened the chat room. Sender's name, Alex. My heart thumped in my temples. I flipped through the correspondence. You're so beautiful. When you're with him, does he even notice that? I don't care what he thinks. What matters is that I get high. I shuddered. Lisa didn't even hide her contempt for me. She'd spent money, cheated, lied, and had no regrets. But now I had proof. I took screenshots and sent them to myself. When Lisa left, I got in the car and followed her. She didn't go to her friend's house. She went downtown to an upscale restaurant, where a tall man in an expensive suit was already waiting for her at the entrance. Alex. I watched her hug him, laughing, putting her hand on his chest. He took her by the waist, whispered something in her ear. I didn't just lose my wife. I lost someone I once considered family. I took a few photos. It wasn't just evidence. That was my ticket out of this nightmare. I sat in the car, watching Lisa laugh and flirtatiously touch Alex's arm. They entered the restaurant without even realizing they were being followed. I took a few more photos. Good lighting, clear shots. Evidence of her betrayal captured on my phone screen. I could storm in there right now. I could make a scene, yell at her in front of dozens of people, expose her lies. But that would be too easy. I wanted more than that. Lisa thought she had everything under control. She thought I'd just accept her betrayal like a pathetic patient. But if she's smart, I'm smarter. I decided to wait. I didn't go home. Instead, I went to see an old friend, Mark. Mark was a private investigator. I'd known him since high school, and I knew that if I wanted dirt, he'd get it. He met me in his office, tall, lean, with piercing gray eyes. Long time no see, Tom. What's up? I silently handed him the cell phone with the pictures on it. He flipped through them, humming. Is your wife cheating? Not only that, she stole $27,000 from me. Money that was earmarked for Sophie's treatment. Mark nodded slowly, something predatory flashing in his gaze. So you need proof. More than just pictures. I need to know everything. Where they meet, how often, how far it goes. He hesitated. I can put her under surveillance. I'll give you a full report. Locations, witnesses, photos, video. It'll take a few days. I nodded. Do it. He grinned. Are you going to divorce her? Yes. But not before I destroy it. Mark nodded approvingly. I like your attitude. 3 days later, Mark called me. There's something interesting. We met at his office, and he handed me a flash drive. The video shows Lisa and Alex at a hotel. They go into the room, spend a few hours there, and come out looking satisfied. I clench my fists. Also, your wife uses a joint credit card to pay for their dinners and hotels. She's spending my money on a lover? Mark grinned. Apparently, he doesn't want to pay for it. I closed my eyes, trying to suppress my anger. This evidence was more than enough. I could go to court right now, file for divorce, ask for full custody of Sophie. But that wasn't enough for me. I wanted Lisa to feel the pain. I opened my laptop and began to prepare. Step 1. Selling her stuff. I will continue to sell her luxuries until I get as much money back as possible. Step 2. Blocking access to finances. I've already created a new account for Sophie. Now I need to close all shared accounts so Lisa can't steal anymore. Step 3. Disclosure. I'm not just going to file for divorce. I'm going to make sure everyone knows who she really is. There was no anger or desperation inside. Just cold calculation. I've collected everything I need. Photos, bank statements, hotel receipts, correspondence. Proof of her lies and betrayal. Lisa betrayed me as a husband, but worst of all, she betrayed our daughter. She stole Sophie's chance at a normal life. For what? For parties, handbags, expensive wine, and cheap men? I picked a restaurant she loved. I'd made reservations there dozens of times when I still believed it meant something to her. When I thought moments like that made our family stronger. Now this place is going to be the scene of her defeat. I invited her to dinner, knowing she would accept the invitation. She always liked to feel wanted, especially after a fight. She was used to the fact that I forgave everything, that I would give in sooner or later because I loved my family and didn't want to destroy what we had built over the years. But tonight, it's going to be different. She entered the restaurant with a confident gait, beautiful, well-groomed, impeccably dressed. The perfect wife, it would seem. But I knew that behind that mask was a lie. She didn't realize it was her last role. I watched her smile, glance at the menu, order, fix her hair. It was the same as always, as if nothing had happened. In her world, it was business as usual. I was supposed to repent, to say I'd been too strict, that I'd overreacted. She would forgive me leniently, shrug her shoulders, and pretend it was nothing. But I kept quiet. There was no doubt in my mind. Just waiting for the right moment. I took out an envelope and put it on the table. She looked at it curiously, but she didn't yet realize what was in store for her. The first blow is the bank statements. The clear amounts deducted from our joint account for her purchases, restaurants, and hotels. Each figure is proof of her selfishness. The second shot is photos. Lisa with Alex, smiling, hugging, entering the hotel room, coming out hours later. The third strike is screenshots of their correspondence. Their dirty talk, her disregard for me, her indifference to our family. Every paper on the table was a nail in the lid of her past life. I watched her expression change. From a slight, confident smile to confusion, then to panic. She knew she'd lost. That there was no way out. I felt no pity. It wasn't just the end of a marriage. It was the end of the man I once loved. Lisa no longer existed. All that was left was a woman who had made her choice. And I made mine. I got up from the table, leaving her alone amidst the ruins of her lies. That's all I had to say. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. If you liked the story, please give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment below. Your support helps the algorithm show my content more often. If you are new to the channel, do not forget to hit that subscribe button. It really helps me keep making more stories for you.